And we are live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize for the delay start. Starting a little bit later than scheduled, but we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Rice TVx and the latest transmission of Stranger Than Fiction. This is the newest episode of Rise and Stand with Rice and Stan. This is a collaboration between both of our YouTube channels. So make sure you subscribe to all of our channels, Bodhisattva Love, Rice TVx, and Rice TVx2. And be sure to follow both of us on Odyssey and Library. Now, before we get into it, a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVx, and this also gives everybody time to get into the video for today's live stream. And make sure you smash that like button. It helps other people to see this information in this YouTube algo flow and all that good stuff. And if you're watching this on replay, I would say fast forward to about the 4.5 minute mark, and you should be getting to the introduction of the video. Thank you once again for tuning in. We greatly appreciate.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
And as always, you can find information down below in the video description for the sponsors of Rice TVx, BitSwap, Dex, Monarch, and Presearch. If this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to check out and explore my channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Also, due to all the recent censorship, make sure you subscribe to my backup channel, Rice TVx2, the sequel. And I've also recently deleted more than half of my videos on my main YouTube channel, which means you can find 100% of my content plus exclusive videos over on Odyssey and Library. If you haven't already, be sure to visit ricecrypto.crypto and sign up for the mailing list so that you never miss an update or new Rice TVx content. You can also find all my social media links as well as merchandise that is coming soon. If you'd like to support the channel directly, consider joining my Patreon, where I have 3 different levels of membership, or if you'd like to send a direct contribution or tip, I have my Cash App information, PayPal, and my CoinTree link for cryptocurrency addresses listed below in the video description. All right, once again, thank you for tuning in for today's live stream. Be sure that you tune in tomorrow, Sunday, the 29th of August, about the same time, about 24 hours from now, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be doing an episode of The Spirituality of Law with Ethan Lucas, episode number 12, What They Don't Want You to Know. And also, in case you don't know, at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time today on Rice TVx2 on Odyssey, Library, and BitChute at Rice TVx will be the premiere of my interview with Cliff High. My interwoo with Cliff High. Uncensored conversation. I decided to use Rice TVx2 as a sacrificial lamb. We'll get into that here in just a moment. So the video will be on YouTube, and we're just going to see how long it remains on the YouTubes. So today I'm joined by my brother from another mother, my partner in crimes, in legal crimes.
Hello, everybody.
What's going on, Stanley?
How's it going, brother?
Good.
Beautiful day here in Florida, man. I'm outside today.
It's
not too hot.
Before we were starting, I was noticing it looked like a treehouse in the background. Is that what that is?
It's actually a power panel thing back there that I fortunately got on my spot here, but it doesn't really bother me much. I got my kayak hanging out back there, too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it totally looks like a little treehouse. That's what I thought you were like.
I wish it was.
Yeah, and again, I want to apologize to everybody. I was up till like 5 o'clock in the morning uploading those 2 clips. I uploaded 2 clip videos of the Cliff High interview on my main YouTube channel. And I want to tell you, it was really hard for me to find a couple little clippable moments that weren't something that could have got the trouble banned. I mean, the channel banned, which is really crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, but they both have already had like 1,000 views each, and kind of a good setup for it being on Rice TVx too. So the backstory is, I did the interview on Thursday. As soon as I was done doing the interview, I uploaded the unedited version on my third backup channel that's not public. And once I decided to do that, I did it to see if it would somehow trip the algorithm. And then I took the edited version, uploaded it on Rice TVx to unlisted. And it was unlisted for about 24 hours roughly before I set a premiere on it. Nothing so far. Now I will let and I said it in the intros of the clip videos. I'm not sure how long it's going to remain on Rice TVx too, because if there was any video that I've done that I know that should get strikes based off of YouTube terms and conditions, this would be it. This is a doozy. I don't know if you had a chance.
This one is at 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, it's going to be premiering at 4.
Okay.
I was going to wait
cover some sensitive topics regarding to terms and conditions, is what you're saying?
Everything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, like, it was in like an hour and 40 minutes. And like, I'm listening through for the clips, and it was like, it took me a while to be able to get what essentially was like 16 minutes of different clips that I broke down to just 2 clips that were kind of like an average of 2 or 3 minutes each. Because it was just like, it was like literally, because we're talking about when you go into a voting booth and if there's any discrepancies when you do that. We're talking about fizzer waxies,
right?
And how there's 2 different flavors. Yep.
One is the E. Yeah, one of them's
EFTA, one of them's EFTA, one of them's yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's Cliff High. He brought the fire. It's Woo at the best, and it's interesting. So I definitely encourage people to tune in for it and to watch the 2 clip videos that are out. So this stream, dude, I didn't tell you. But because of what's going on, because of the fact that I've only been up now a half hour, I'm good for an hour.
Okay.
I know you got to work. We just really wanted to, like, when I asked you if you wanted to do this again today, it was mainly to kind of like focus more on what we were talking about towards the latter part of the show. Yeah, the individuals and teachers that we agree with and will recommend and suggest people to check out, and why, because we're not asking people to necessarily follow everything that these individuals do or necessarily follow methods per se, but just based off of our research, our dealings. These are the people who we have found to be the more honorable ones and the more valuable ones as far as the information and such.
Yeah.
So you got anything you want to add to all that before we get into?
No, let's go ahead and get into it. We only got about an hour, so let's go ahead and let's get into it.
Okay. I was hoping that you were going to talk, because while you're doing it, I was trying to get everything prepped for a screen share.
Well, let's just say I'll just share maybe my journey then, where I've come to with, when we started this Rice, we were more infants than we are now. We're growing and we're learning every day as we continue to research more and more. And what I've discovered is that we can make this really complicated, or we can make it really simple. And what I'm finding is that many people that are having an effect are making it really simple. They're sticking to the basics, but you have to learn, first of all, who you are, and you have to learn the law. And once you really learn who you are and who you're not, and how this all works, that you're not the creditor. You're not the creditor right now, but you want to be the creditor, and you don't want to be in the public. You want to be in the private. You want to, know your status and standing, and learn what all that means, and then you can move forward. And learning the Constitution because they are the supreme law of the land. There's state constitutions and there's federal constitution. Know the constitutions, because those are the guarantees that you have to keep these subcontractors, these corporations at bay. And if not, they're going to conscript you under their contract unilaterally, which just means one-sided. And every living man and woman has the right to contract or not contract. So you have to know that everything is commerce, it's contract law, to stay in honor and to be able to know your rights. That way you can stand on them. If you don't know them, you cannot stand on them. And you have to get rid of the fear of handing over everything to these barristers, because they're not interested in you. They're interested in what they took an oath to, which is their bar and their court system. And that's the money that they're extracting from your estate.
You know, speaking of the bar thing, I told you before that I had, I've been trying to look in and verify a lot of these things, and there's really not a lot of solid information tying this thing to like a British accreditation system or anything. It's really very slick how they've done things. So that's one of those things that if you're watching this video and you've got more information that you can add to anything that we're talking about, definitely comment down below. Our email are listed in the contact information of our channels and video description. I thought this was super ironic, dude. As I was getting my Braze browser set up and I'm looking at Rice TVx 2, the Cliff High interview premieres at 4:00 p.m. Eastern time in like 2 hours and 40 minutes, right? There's more people waiting to watch that video than watching our video right now.
Oh, of course. Cliff High is,
there's 255 people
I'm not too
waiting. It's like, hey, why don't you come over here in the meantime and check us out? We're talking about some valuable stuff, but it's all good. I just appreciate, and I'm doing this also, trying to hope that it will help me get my subscriber numbers up on Rice TVx too. For whatever reason, I've got a big disconnect for people over, it's like 21,000 subscribers that have decided that they don't want to go to Rice TVx 2 for whatever reason.
Not until this one if it ever gets hacked, then they'll jump over there. Yeah, no,
it's gone up since I woke up, just a couple hundred, which, that was another thing is, I never, what could be really crazy, dude, because we've had this same situation I was telling you about. Some of the videos that they took down in the middle of July from my channel are still up on your channel. So they could very well remove the clip videos, either one of the clip videos from my main channel and give me a strike, and the backup channel will have the full interview with no effect.
I don't. It's interesting how that works.
I'm playing a test. That's why I've got this video on 3 different channels in 3 different ways, so that if they want to say something, I've got a lot of things to back me up, because they've screwed with me enough that I'm really. I hate the idea of like trying to even think about utilizing the court system. But if it comes down to it, I'll do it.
Well, you can just send notices. You don't even have to go through the courts. You send notices to the CEOs. So that's what we're learning, right? That's a big part of what I'm learning, is that you don't even have to go to their courts because you have no status and standing in their courts, right? But you can go after the CEOs.
I wish I would have coordinated with you on this though, because you said we apologize for the inconvenience. Rice had to do his hair when I just had literally woken up, and I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah. That's why you had to do your hair. He couldn't get his hawk up, so he had to put the hat on. Didn't have time.
That's hilarious. And then another thing too, I was hoping that uploading this stuff the way I was doing it was going to help kind of trip that algorithm. And again, 15 people watching between the 3 channels. It's definitely
well, it's middle Saturday afternoon, it's nice out. Fat Vegan says she loves this free country. You fat vegan, you know what I call it? Well, it's the United States would be the land of the free and the home of the slave, not the United States of America. If you know the difference between the two,
USA
you'll know
Inc.
that. Yeah. Is the difference. The USA Inc. is the land of the fee and the home of the slave.
I love that play on words. That's a good one.
Yeah, you guys tune in, check out that Cliff High. That should be a good one.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you had seen it. Didn't I not send you the link to the Patreon?
If you did, I didn't have a chance to look at it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting this, I mean, I was really going to put this out Monday. I've been trying to say like I was going to slightly, reduce my content on YouTube, but that really hasn't worked. But I'm still putting out extra content on other places. And the crazy thing is I still have like 3 or 4 videos that I haven't released, and I have a crazy schedule next week. And then I go on that vacation. So it'll probably be 2 more weeks before we're able to do anything with me and you.
Okay.
I'll let you know 100% for sure. I'm trying to figure out my schedule, but yeah. So, and I was recording videos in advance so I could make sure that I was continuing to release videos so that I wasn't having any issues with the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, it looks like you got to definitely be up on it to have the algorithms in favor.
Dude, it's ridiculous, man. It is so ridiculous. Maris Khan. Eris?
American. Eris Khan. Interesting.
Eris Khan. Yeah. Give us more information, Stan. Yeah, I would think that maybe someone is reporting my channels, and from what I'm under the comprehension of, some Cohen master wants to declare war.
I had an interesting conversation with David Michael for a couple hours 2 nights ago. He continues to do research. So he said he found that the colons on both sides is kind of like boxing. And he's making his own interpretations. There's no quantum grammar styles manual, as he even stated himself. There's no.
So the 2 dots are like supposed to be like a Popeye throwing up his fist or something.
Yeah, on both sides.
That's a good one. I mean, it's in the Chicago Styles Manual, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it wasn't quantum.
Do you have
grammar.
a copy? Do you have a copy of the Chicago? I tried to find a PDF version. I can't find one so far. If anybody's got a PDF of either the 17th or 15th edition.
From Justinian Deception, which was somebody that I had failed to mention last week, which is another reason why I said, let's do this again and reiterate. He does some videos. I'm going to try to look at the channel and see if I can figure out by the titles which one it is.
Have you heard from him lately?
Not lately. He's not been very responsive. He had apparently said he apparently had forwarded somebody some information that came from the Charlie Ward camp, and I was like, what the hell, dude? He talked to me then, but every time I'm like, hey, can I get you on the show? Can I get you on the show? It's just crickets. I think the fear of what's going on there has really gotten to him. And I'm not saying he's a scaredy cat. I'm just saying that the fear of what's going on in Australia, and people have heard stories. It's not pretty. His partner's locked up, no charges, been locked up for a year or so or more. And that's actually, it looked like they deleted videos, but they didn't. So
check this out. I was in this Telegram group, right? And I'm still in it, but someone invited Lee Dawson and Mahoney into the group.
A Telegram
group?
That
was interesting. Yeah. I'll send it to you so you can just kind of view what's going on there. They haven't posted anything in there.
I don't know if it was specifically this hyphen glitch video, but it's because there was a video that this is not the one, because the video that I'm talking about had
okay, he's got the book right there.
Had his partner though doing stuff, but yeah, that's the Chicago Styles Manual, because I saw it here at the beginning. The Chicago Manual of Style, where he goes into different. But this isn't that particular video. But this I guess while we're here, this is and this is somebody who I failed to mention last week. But this is Justinian Deception. Anybody who is new to learning about any of this legal fiction stuff, when you're hearing things about language, etymology, grammar, and a variety of other things, this is a really good resource. I would recommend starting from the very beginning, and you notice the videos aren't super long, and you will find them very engaging. At least that's my opinion. I found them to be super engaging. Now, originally, I had found out about Justinian deception because Sergeant Robert Horton had recommended through the War Castle stuff to do War for Souls as a continuing series and use content from Justinian deception with their permission, of course. And just a wealth of information when it comes to explaining what happened with our language, and how that correlates into this world of the dead versus the world of the living. What are your thoughts on?
Yeah, literally, there's a lot
deception?
there's a lot to digest in all his videos, and you know, I know it's tough for a lot of people. There's so much information out there, but when you get a chance, just start picking a video, and you'll learn a lot. You know, especially if you're new, it's going to go over your head probably if you start here. But
somebody was saying the birth certificate. Let me see. I'm going to fast forward to see this, the one with his partner in it.
Lohan, talking about what's Lohan? Yeah, he's still locked up, isn't he?
I think so. That's what I'm saying. That's his partner who was locked up with no charges. This was talking about the difference of the two different birth instruments, whether it's there's two different words. There's a birth certificate and there's like a certificate of live birth.
Of live birth. Yep. Mm-hmm. There's a long form and a short form. Anybody who wants to see that can go to any vital statistics online, and it'll talk about the long form and the short form. The long form just has more information on it. Short form has less information on it. But I would definitely encourage the one you want to use authenticated and stuff like that.
Ram and Rohan talk.
You're going to say, right? You like to encourage.
I always think I was messing up things, and I always kept saying Lohan. I thought it was Lohan Rorian, but it's Rohan Lorian. I always mess it up.
Oh, you had it backwards.
Ram and Ro. And I'm not dyslexic, so I'm not sure why that happened. But
I can see how that can happen.
This doesn't seem like the video that he's explaining, but it's obviously more stuff in relation to, you know, everything. And their research is just really impeccable. So Justinian deception, as far as foundational knowledge of getting a really good understanding about some of the trespasses that have occurred. That's how I would put it. I would say there's a few of the many. I think there's absolutely zero solutions, but there's lots of knowledge. Would you agree with that?
Well, I don't think there's any
solutions per se.
I think the solutions are coming out. I mean, when people learn on an individual level, this is where we can kind of segue into Alphonse's basics of, you know, learning for yourself how to manage, you know, this law. If you know how to do the affidavits, and Alphonse Fajolio, it's something I
thought it was something Matrix, isn't it?
It looks like the Matrix. I just posted it in the Telegram. Lemurian girl, thank you. Yes, she mentioned Charlie Ward of CIA, and she also said on the Telegram channel I dump is research that I do on that channel. It's mainly a place for research. Anybody can post there.
Apparently, there's an Alfonso Gagliano.
That's not it. Here, I
know, but I just thought that was interesting. I'm looking for Alphonse Fagiolo, and there's a. Did you mean Alfonso Gagliano?
Yeah, he's got it titled interestingly. Something about
YouTube channel.
I am you or something like that. I am.
Let me go to my YouTube channel and go to my playlist section, because I can just refer to most of them. Most that we're going to be talking about, I've interviewed or we've interviewed. Not all of them, but
okay. I am you or something.
Here's Alphonse and video description. I am Hassan, me to you.
I am as me to you or something like that.
I am has sent me to you.
I am has sent me to you. Yeah, there you go.
Like, what the hell, man?
It's an interesting title for a website. I have an
excuse. I'm just waking up still. I've literally now been up an hour. Oh, that's the wrong link. It's
Yeah,
going to
he's
take
got a
us
lot
into
of.
screen
All you
reader.
do is register for the site, and he's got a lot of stuff you can download, like templates, and there's chats, so you can communicate with like-minded individuals. It's
Oh, it's
nothing
some of the
fancy,
best.
but
It's
yeah, it's
literally
pretty
some of
cool.
the best information. So I'm not going to take the time to link all these down below, but we're going to read out the sites and stuff that we share and where we're sharing them. So I am has sent me to you. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. And yeah, you just sign up, log in, and all the documents are free. When he says I am has sent me to you, he has and you can check it out in the interview, but he really talks about some things that he went through and where he got to be today and promises that he made. And so he doesn't, and I don't fault anybody else for what they choose to do or not to do. But in his particular instance, he doesn't charge anything for any of the stuff he does as far as the information he provides. Now, in the same token, I think I learned from him in the interview that he doesn't really do a lot of things individually with people because of it's being so time consuming. So this is the reason why he does these kind of things, is because he can have mass information available to a mass amount of people and not have to focus on it people individually. And then a lot of his videos will explain the stuff that's there. But as far as of all the people we'll talk
I think
to,
it's almost up to 9,000.
that's crazy. But I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
he's
as
over
far as
9,000 members on his Telegram right now. 9,045 as of right now.
as far as all the people who we're going to talk about, I would say that I think, in my opinion, Alphonse probably has more information available, whether free or not free, of all the people we're going to talk about. I think he's the one who's got the biggest resource library from what I can remember. Do you think that's correct?
About all the people, I don't know what you mean by about all the people that we're talking about as far as
Well, you know, like if you go to someone like Carl Lentz, Cal Washington, Yusuf L, as far as the resources and information, it seems like there's a lot more available on
I would say Alphonse has information to give you immediate remedy to whatever situation that you're going to come up to or you're currently dealing with. And that his Telegram is people focused on helping you get immediate remedy and helping you learn a stand in your capacity and be able to implement these affidavits and things to perform and to stay out of their courts properly. Yusef would be able to help you with the secured party process, so there's two totally different things. USFL is, he's got this secured party creditor university, which I'm looking probably to get involved with. And people would say, I always question, why would you have to do that? Well, they've created this creditor debtor system, right? So if you do file the UCCs, you're just putting yourself as first in liability to everything regarding the debtor, which is that name. So now you're first in line, first in time. So if anybody tries to put a lien against you, you can't do anything with a lien until the other liens are settled. So if you put a lien on your assets and everything else first, nobody can do anything until the other ones are settled. So it puts like a wall or a wedge in between everything else. So if these people try to come after you or anybody tries to come after you, they can't, because the first liens have to be settled first.
And you had mentioned that
that's very important.
Alphonse is giving people like remedies in dealing with legal situations and going with court, right?
Yeah, and trying to not even go to court. I mean, when we learn that everything is commerce, it's just contract, it's just negotiations, and you learn to stay in honor, you don't argue, you just negotiate. And you can negotiate. If they send you a summons, that's an offer. So if you know how to negotiate that offer and you send them an affidavit, because if you understand an affidavit, one of the maxims of law is an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. That may not be verbatim, but that's basically what it is. Right. So everything is just done by the affidavits. Now, a liability is totally different. A notice of liability is going to have an effect to hold people accountable.
Well, let's
you can
try not to confuse things with mixing up too much. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, let's
We'll
try
stick with
not to.
Alphonse.
Yeah, let's try to stick with each person, and then if you want to open it up, because I think that might have been a little bit too what might have been somewhat discombobulating about how we were doing it.
I did.
We had no
off,
plan.
so.
We didn't go into it with a plan. We just started talking about some things, and it went there.
Fireside chat, ladies and gentlemen. This is totally
so
raw.
This is
totally
Alphonse's
raw.
YouTube channel. Alphonse's YouTube channel, and then you can see the spelling here, and then also his website. I am has sent me to you. So he's really good with the court remedies and affidavits. Affidavits is like his area of specialty, from what I understand, what I comprehend. Lots of good videos.
He's got stuff on there about how to deal with creditors, people trying to come after you, like credit card companies and tickets and all these other kinds of things that you have to deal with these courts trying to send you summons. And how to do an affidavit of status, affidavit of fact, all these kind of things. And if you want, you guys can go find his Telegram group, Alphonse Fagiolo, and you guys just respect the group, because I've watched a lot of the chats and it goes by the hundreds by the day, thousands.
Well, there seems to be on this webpage, it looks like there's links for the Telegram stuff, and then you can also search his name when you're going into I'm not going to pull up Telegram and screen share that. I'm just screen sharing way too much information. But the website and the YouTube channel, both available. Good remedies, good solutions dealing with court-related things and not going to court, and affidavits. Now, you mentioned SPC University and Yusuf L.
Before we go on, I wanted to say about Alphonse's Telegram. If you guys get on there, please respect the channel and stay focused on the content. He does not want any COVID stuff on there. You're just there to learn. If you have situations or a situation that you want to be, you want to be prepped for situations and learn how to be prepared if anything ever popped up, just listen and read the chat. Read the chat.
Yeah, I wish what you just said. Wish what you just said people would really take to heart, but let me know how that works out, because I've tried.
They scrub it. And they address it as soon as it starts to come out. They have moderators on there just deleting stuff that gets posted on there.
Okay.
So he makes that clear.
More moderators on my community chat for Rice TVx and Telegram, because some of it I've just had to be a little just very forward about what I think about a lot of stuff, and let people know that if you're here trusting a plan, waiting for somebody to save you, this group is not for you.
So let's see. Lemurian Girl said, wait, I want to hear what Stan was about to say about if people go to the Alphonse Telegram channel, what is the proper etiquette? Please don't move on from that. So did you, okay, looks like you got that answered. We got that covered. Yeah,
what
so
was
just
your
please
Telegram
respect the channel if you go there. What is mine? Autonomy. Guess I have to put a little thing in here. And the same thing, this channel is for, someone helped me just create the channel in the group chat.
Apparently, he says it was a hyphen glitch video about the 10 minutes in on Justinian Deception, where they're talking about the stuff in regards to the name and the manual styles, the Chicago manual styles, or whatever.
Is it? Okay.
So, again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. So, yeah, Alphonse is a cool dude. I need to get him back on. And been trying to reach out to Yusuf L. Yusuf, you can find on YouTube at High Frequency Radio, which this is his second channel, I believe, because he's had one deleted, because he's had a lot bigger of a channel. Sure, specifically what occurred, but Alphonse is interesting. I mean, are we done talking about Alphonse?
Yeah, I think so. I think we covered Alphonse.
Okay. Yusuf is a really interesting dude. I mean, we talked about him. He's got like a lot of street to him, he even says a lot of hood in him. He initially learned a lot about this in prison. He seems to be well-rounded with a lot of his knowledge, but he's very well studied. But he seems to be really focused in a way, and more knowledgeable in how to handle the discharge of debt dealing with the SPC side and the UCC stuff.
Becoming a secured party, becoming the creditor and not the debtor, and how to handle your business affairs, basically. Because it's all business. Everything's just business. You know, like Jordan Maxwell said, it's just business. You know, it's
and
all
he's
just
definitely
business.
not trying to like. He's not. He doesn't care about hurting people's feelings or anything like that. Like Yusuf is very focused on what he's doing and doesn't get sidetracked by a lot of the other stuff. But at the same time, he really knows what he's talking about. So he's kind of earned his spot with being able to communicate in those manners. That doesn't mean that he's like shitty with people, because he's not like an awful individual. It's just I've seen him be stern and correct people. If he's having a show about a specific topic and somebody's trying to talk about something else, he'll correct them. You know, because he does do a wide variety of shows. And so SPC is a secured party creditor university. Have you looked into, like, because I haven't had a chance to look into like the cost of what he's doing?
Yeah, so $39 would be a monthly basic package, and you get certain access to certain things. $79 would be the middle package, where you get a little bit more access to other things, and then the premium monthly would be $99. And then he has yearly options, you know, where you can shave off about $400 for the year. I'm considering doing either the 99 or 79 monthly to get in and just see, you know, the information.
Right.
And start that process and follow the steps, because, you know, he knows what he's talking about, and it makes sense to me to be that first in line, first in time, and to go through that process, because again, it's just business. You know, they've created something, so you have to learn how to manage it. You know, they've created the whole birth certificate and the creditor position, so you just have to learn how to control it. You know, what do they say?
Well,
Possession is 9/10 of the law, control is the other 10th.
He's got some free blog stuff here. So, I mean, it's not as if people want to go to spcuniversity.com and look at the articles. I mean, where was it?
Yeah, there's a link I shared in our last chat that he has a plethora of documents. If anybody has access to the Rice, you shared it with me with that Breaking the Code 3rd edition, Cracking the Code 3rd edition. That is, it's all in that book. Like everything you need to know is in that book. Like it's all in there. There's even Black's Law definitions, so you wouldn't have to have a separate Black's Law if you didn't want it. All the definitions for Black's Law in there that you need to know, used for commercial codes, and the way the fraud works is in that book, Cracking the Code 3rd edition. If anybody can find a link to that, share it in the chat.
And if you start watching High Frequency Radio and listening to what Yusuf talks about, he'll mention that as well. There's a lot of resources that he has mentioned that people need to check out. Anything that you want to add to Yusuf?
No, go check out his videos. The ones where he's driving around is all raw. That's where, you know, you get the ghetto Yusuf and the /ghetto/educated Yusuf. You're going to get a mix. But if you go to the ones where he's done it, where he's took his time, that are more formal, that's more of an educational. You'll notice the difference in his deliveries. But the ones where he's driving around is just going to be completely raw. So some people may be offended by that, but just try to get past all that, because he will throw out some knowledge on you. And but if you want to get straight to the core content, go to the ones where he's more focused.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to tell when he's driving or not, because you can see most of them here he's driving. But not to say that the ones where he's driving doesn't have good information. It just takes a little longer because he's reading what people are saying, and sometimes it pulls him away from the title of the video that he's into.
We had mentioned last week about Cal Washington. What was his website? Is it empowerment.com?
Empower Movement. Empower Movement.
Okay, and L with a one L.
Yeah, you could put In Power. He has a channel that has the 2 videos on there. In Power.
I was seeing what was coming up with.
Yeah,
that.
you're gonna get football that comes up mostly with that.
There was a couple different things with Empower. I had to ask him which one. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I had to ask him which one was his actual channel.
That one right there. There's only 2 videos right now.
Okay.
But I
And
highly recommend both of those videos. The one on the right is the documentary, which is really good. And the other one is the Red Pill Expo, I think, Rice, that we were going to try to go to. It's a really good talk. And this is the only man that I know that has gotten people to leave their positions. He's figured it out on a whole nother level than any other people we talk about. And he's focused on the trespassing technologies and the notices of liability. He's got it to the point where these people will literally have to leave their positions because they get painted in a corner.
And that's like
he's
that's
the only
his
man,
main specialty is those notice of liabilities.
He's the only man that I know that can walk in a court and the judges leave the bench. So
now, but have you witnessed this or other videos like where this is this just from hearsay as far as?
Well, this is from him talking about it, but when you haven't had a chance, obviously, to watch the videos yet. But when you watch the videos, you'll see how he talks about, he's like all the stuff we talk about. I'm not the man, and da 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 da. He's been through all that. He's been locked up. He's been arrested. He's been through the processes, through experience. Okay, through his experience, he's gotten to a whole nother level because he breaks down the jurisdictions very well, better than I've seen anybody do. Then he discovered the law merchant. I've never heard anybody talk about the law merchant until I ran into Cal's information. So then he goes beyond law merchant to the spiritual jurisdiction, and he started utilizing terms like the watchers and the archangels, and that's when he started to notice that people were noticing it. He just did this by trial and error. He didn't, he just said, hey, let me try this. So he started trying things, and he started noticing they started reacting to these things. So this is all highly on a spiritual level, and it all comes down to the 1611 King James Version, because apparently that's the Bible version that the Queen took her oath on. And after the 1611, they changed, and that's when the U's and V's changed, and the I's and J's, and the S's and F's. So with those verbiage changes, it changes the way things read and how these things are expressed.
Right.
And so there's big differences. So, he noticed these things. So this goes way deeper into a spiritual level that he's taken it to. And I've been involved. I've got a 3-month membership. I recommend everybody that wants to take part in stopping these trespassing technologies. It's quaternary. Quaternary means 4 technological trespass that's upon us right now. We know one is the in the arm, right? So that you've got the antennas, which would be a number and a letter, right? That, and then you've got what's being sprayed in the sky, that, and then you've got those things that go on the side of the house, right?
Yeah, these things.
You take all those technologies. There you go. You take all those technologies, and now you put notices of liability to everybody, what they call respondents, that is implementing these things in your local level. And you could go state. So the more of us that implement these notices of liability. Now, when I say notice of liability and you implement them, this isn't just something you're writing a little paragraph. There's a process, and it takes 9 months to do. And it's been perfected. And they've got a generator that you put in the information, and it's going to spit out these things. So they're perfect. And you cannot change or alter them, because people that did try to change and alter them, they weren't effective, because they will find holes in them. So you have to stick to the script. And then now, within a 9-month period, either the next day after that 9-month period, they will step down immediately or within a couple of weeks, because they're going to be held liable, and they're going to be receiving bills. And he's got several articles. When you watch the videos, you'll see that people have literally left their positions. Now, right now, it's been on hold for the past few months because they're trying to perfect it, and then it's going to be relaunched here, any day now, weeks, in the next 2 weeks or month. But I got the 3-month membership. Right now, if you get a 3-month membership, just go there, get involved, dig into the information, and then learn the process. There's videos and information you're not going to get outside because it's a PMA. It's a private membership association. I suggest you read the private membership association agreement so you can see the intention and the way they use their words in the intention. And that'll touch a lot of people's hearts. I'll see if I can post that in here right now.
Totally agreed. And I would, there was something I was going to add to that, but I cannot remember what it was. I definitely need to get back in touch with Cal and try to get him back on the show. Kaipo Pacheco was asking about, Stan, what do you think of BB UCC course? I don't know that you've seen it. I did the interview with her and BB Bacchus.
Bacchus, I remember you interviewed her.
Yeah, she's a really smart lady. She seems to have gone through some stuff, but I can't really completely say that what she's teaching is a solution or even works. I haven't seen anything. I haven't taken the course. I've heard from a few different people that didn't feel like there was anything that they couldn't have learned on their own very easily from other methods. So I don't really want to try to necessarily endorse BB myself or even discourage people. I just want to make sure that anybody who resonates with you, that you want to learn from, always do your own research about what you're doing, because unfortunately, not every Homo sapien, man or woman, they PQRSs are always good individuals. Not everybody treats people how they want to be treated. So, you just got to basically, make sure. I don't want to recommend someone that I don't know enough about, is really, I guess, what it comes down to. You don't know much about BB, do you?
All I know is the interview did, and I remember after you did the interview, I seen her on things, but I have not done any further diligence on her. Okay. If you think BB's got it, share it, bring it to our attention. But all I can say for the secured party process is the best person in that arena right now for me is going to be USFL.
Yeah, and then the other thing that kind of rubs me with the BB stuff is that she works in association with the New Earth University, which is Sasha Stone, and I'm not necessarily the biggest Sasha Stone fan. I'm not talking crap about Sasha Stone, but I don't know that his intentions are the best.
Yeah, the INTJ, I think it is, International something justice. I think it's ITNJ or INTJ.
Yeah, that's the thing that the spook Robert David Steele is involved in.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a long time, because I was aware of that for a while, and I don't know either of the cats, at all. But I do know there was a guy that was trying to expose Sasha Stone, saying that he had a Facebook talking about New World Order stuff, and then he took it down. And Sasha's been addressed by that, but of course he's going to deny it. But I don't know. I mean, they've had that INJT or TJ thing for a long time, and there really has been no resolve for the human trafficking. If there has been, obviously it's not going to be on the mainstream, but I don't really see them talking about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So who knows? I mean, there's a lot of distractions out there, and these things could look good on the surface, and I don't know which ones would be, but things that can look good on the surface may be just giving you enough to keep you distracted, but not giving you any full remedy. You know what I mean? Or any results. It's like you're being distracted. You're putting all your attention over here, and you're not able to move forward with actually things that are effective.
It's like mixing in lie with the truth. Mixing up more lie than truth, and just keep people confused ultimately. And another thing that I would make sure that if you want to explore more information about this, you can explore both me and Stan's channels. Links are down below. So, I would definitely encourage you to do that. On my channel specifically, I have a playlist that I created called Law Series. There's the interview with BB Bacchus, the interview with Mark Passio, Carl Lentz, Christopher James, a roundtable with Christopher James that Stan, I believe, was involved in. You were involved. Yeah, you were involved. Your picture's on the thumbnail. Divergent 5, who I'm not necessarily endorsing right now. I've got to talk to Darren. I'm trying to work out what's going on their end. Some odd things I keep hearing odd things coming from that camp. My interviews with KL. I have separate playlists for my interviews with KL, and I have a separate playlist for my interviews with Robert Michael. They're both good resources for the private. When you want to learn about private membership associations, private contracts, private societies, and how all that works, they're really good with that. In addition to Ken Cousins from Gemstone University and Pantera PCA. I don't think you've looked a whole lot into
well, I first heard of
those three.
I first heard of him. I first heard of Gemstone University when we were researching the Hallett thing.
Okay, because he did that interview with Hallett.
Yeah, and but I haven't dug into it too much. But I've only know what you shared.
Dean Clifford's another good resource. But I don't really have a website for Dean Clifford. Clint Richardson wrote a book I think Stan has a copy of, that Strawman book.
Yeah, I think there's a PDF of it.
Now, he's obviously encouraging people to send him donations for that, because that's like he doesn't work. This is like he's trying to do all this kind of stuff full time. So people can go over to strawmanstory.info. It says free download. And then it says if you would like to support the author and receive a printed copy. And he's asking for people that, could donate to what he's doing, which I have no problem with people donating to somebody when they're releasing a book for free.
Absolutely. That's a lot of work,
And this book is like thousands of pages, dude. I would say between the book you mentioned that I had shared with you that Yusuf talked about, the cracking the code. And then this, there's a lot. You probably wouldn't even need to listen to any of the people that we mentioned if you just check out this, because this right here resource is just insane. Like, he's very meticulous, kind of the same thing where you have definitions and a lot of stuff written within the text to give you, to make it easier for you to be able to look at all the information. And if you really wanted to fact check what he had written, you can go ahead and do so. But definitions and things like that, breaking down the etymology, because that was one of his specialties, is etymology. Etymology is another thing that people need to like put a little bit of time and effort into because of the wordplay. There's a lot of trickery that's just done with the language that me and you have learned.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, talking to David Michael and learning about the surname and not even to use it. That's something that I'm really trying to wrap my head around right now. It's like, because they've created it as a title and that's what they're utilizing. So if you stop using the surname altogether, just use your given name. Your first middle, even if you have a middle. Some people don't even have a middle name, but just getting rid of that surname altogether, because there's so much trickery, and I don't know if that's the best way to go, but it's starting to make sense to me the more I'm really trying to throw it around. And
well, I think it's a combination of things, because if you're just not using your surname, you still might have a birth certificate, you still might have a social security card, you still might have a driver's license. You move forward, right? It's how you move forward with these things, right? Like, some people are still saying, hey, get your driver's license, but redo it and put without prejudice above the signature. So some people need a driver's license. They have to work in that capacity. So to not have one for some people doesn't make sense, right? So they have right now in the system they're in, if you are in commerce, you got to have the driver's license. You're operating in commerce, right? But if you do have one, go resubmit and then put without prejudice above your autograph, right? Your surf name.
So there you go. Surf name, surname.
Mm-hmm. Derek Sexton.
Would it be SERF? Could be SERF.
Lawfulliving.com is the real deal. I'm not familiar with the website. I've been sent a lot of information that I need to check. So that would be.
Thanks for sharing that. I don't know if I've been there yet myself.
I can't endorse it.
Someone mentioned Derek Gonzalez. I've heard of him. I was on some calls with him back when I was still dealing with Facebook a year ago. I haven't dealt with Facebook for about a year, but I was on some calls that were like long calls with Derek Gonzalez. It seemed like they were sharing good information. Don't you have super chats? Girl.
Yeah, we both have super chats turned on, but at the same time, YouTube gouges people with how much they keep from the super chat. So I don't always necessarily encourage it. I don't know about Stan, But I mean,
Well,
I'm
Lemurian
still.
Girl, I turned off all monetization. I didn't want to give YouTube any more money. So if you want to donate to me, contact me directly. I think you're on the autonomy chat, correct? And if you would like to donate for all the information that I do research and share on that channel, some people do that. I have people that just share with me donations because they appreciate my time and efforts to share that.
Well, one thing you can do just to even avoid banks is the cryptocurrency thing and get some addresses, because I have a website that's Cointree, and it's like cointr.ee, and it's like a link tree type site where you can list a bunch of different social media sites, but it also gives you a place where you can list cryptocurrency addresses as well. So, but because I haven't corrected anything with my status, I have PayPal and Cash App and things to that effect. So if you have Cash App, Stan, you can give people out your Cash App handle.
I do.
There's a Bitcoin address in your Cash App wallet. So there's a lot. There's some methods of things that you can do, and I've been trying to definitely encourage you to do so. And when people, I want to highlight this too, because not everybody can afford to do these kind of things, but the ones that can really do help out, and it does help make up for what we do, and it is very much appreciated.
Well, people like me and you guys, this is what we do almost for a living. I mean, I do work, but it's work trades. So I don't make an income. I don't really have an income at all, So everything I do is I spend a lot of time reaching for myself and I share it for others, and I don't really ask for money. Some people just offer,
I'm just waiting for this bull run to take off so I can start taking some profits with some of my crypto, and then I think I'll be in a lot better position and not have to be where I'm at currently. Because currently I'm cash money poor. I don't have very much cash money, but I'm working on savings and my future and things to that effect. And the last market, when I got in, I didn't understand how the stuff worked and didn't take any profits at any point. So I'm being a lot more cautious about what I'm doing this time around. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'm going to be in a position where I'm not even going to be giving out my PayPal and Cash App so people can't donate. But if somebody wants to donate in the meantime, it'd be greatly appreciated, because
I think you should never cut yourself off. People appreciate the hard work you do. They know you do this for a living. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't cut yourself off there. That's just my take. I think you do hard work. You do seek out, the great people to interview. That takes a lot of work, man. And people get the information through all your efforts. So if they're willing to donate, don't stop them from that. Allow them to share with you their appreciation. You know what I mean? Definitely. There's nothing wrong with asking for donations or, leaving it open for that channel at all. I see where you're coming from, but I wouldn't cut yourself off, man. People appreciate that, because they know they don't have the time. There's families out there with children. They're busy, I talk to families all the time. They just don't have the time.
I know. They appreciate it. And this is very, very time consuming.
It is.
But I mean, as I told you, I've gotten to a point now where I've been able to work out how I'm doing things to not overkill myself. Now, this week I have made some exceptions. There's a couple times I worked from the time that I got up to the time that I went to bed. And then yesterday was like pretty hectic. And then I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning doing those clips. Somebody had mentioned, like, where can I watch the Cliff High video? The Cliff High video is not going to be, it's going to be premiering in 2 hours. It premieres on Rice TVx today. 4 p.m. Eastern time on Rice TVx 2. At the same time, at 4 o'clock p.m., it'll be available on BitChute and Odyssey and Library. So not sure how long it will remain on YouTube. And another thing that I wanted to stress is there are 2 clip videos that you can watch right now. Cliff Clips. Cliff Clippies. And they're over on Rice TVx and also on my Odyssey channel. Clip number 1 and clip number 2. Clip number 1 is about the age of Aquarius, kind of like his explanation of it, enlightenment. And you'll actually like this, Stan.
Okay.
Because he gives a really interesting take. And then also the other one was the US dollar losing its world reserve status and have like a 90% loss of purchasing power by like January-ish based off his data. So there's 2 clips that are available now. They're available on Odyssey and Library, and then the full video will be available on Rice TVx 2, but I don't know how long it'll be there. And then Odyssey, Library, and BitChute. And there's links down below for Rice TVx 2. If you're not subscribed to Rice TVx 2, the backup channel, the Sacrificial Lamb. Make sure you do so. That's what I'm calling it now. The Sacrificial Lamb for free speech.
Let's see here. There's something I've been kind of holding off.
Real quick, somebody commented, how fast will this channel get banned after this premiere? Sorry,
right?
Go ahead.
So yeah, let's say this. So let's look at, me and you, right? We're like, when I say nobody, you know what I mean. That's not that we're nobody, but we don't have this fascinating background of being a CIA agent or a political affiliation or a rock star or someone that's been huge out there. We're just normal cats out here trying to figure this all out, and we're trying to help funnel it to you guys, because the more of us that are empowered with this knowledge, even on a local level, because you think about all the stuff that we're going through, like if you get arrested, you're usually on your own. We need to start building community locally, that people that are on the same page, because if something happens to you, people that have the same knowledge and awareness that can support you. So if you get illegally incarcerated, that you got people that are going to show up and start, submitting writs of habeas corpus or saying you've wrongfully incarcerated this man. They're going to show up at your court case with you on a Zoom or whatever, and they're going to help you hold these people accountable. This is where we need to be. That's our courts. That's our common law court. You don't have to do some elaborate thing to create it. It's already here. All we have to do is do it. What does the Constitution say? We, the people, have the power. There's nothing to wait for. We can do this now. We don't need permission. The problem is we're always asking for permission or thinking that somebody else is going to do it for us. Trump even said, giving America back to the people. Stop waiting for somebody to do it for you. It is up to us. We have the power now to come together. You can call it assemble or whatever, and invoke our constitutional guarantees, which means holding them accountable to their oath of office and make sure that they have bonds. So you can put notice of demands for oath of office in their bond. Now, you don't have to wait. There's nothing to wait for. So all these assemblies is what I've come to. My point is they're waiting to assemble. There's nothing to wait for. Just do it. Like now, we can come together now and invoke it, So that's where I think a lot of this is bringing the distraction, because if you got people on an individual level filing affidavits and standing in their rights, they didn't do anything. They didn't have to wait for anything. They're doing it right now. So that means you can do it, your neighbor can do it, your mom can do it, your dad can do it, your friends can do it. And you show people that this is happening and working, and they go, the light might come on and go, hey, now we've got a collective of people working together in your local area. Is that mine? Internet that went out? Are we still connected? Give me a 5x5 if you guys can still hear me.
I can hear you, and we're still.
But my point is that we don't have to wait for anything. You have the power now. The Constitution is an ironclad contract that is here. It's always been here. It's not going anywhere. Marbury versus Madison. Just go look at that court case. Supreme Court case has never been redacted, never been altered. It stands as truth right here and right now. So do not wait for anything. Now, Dimebar posted that Josh Barrett, apparently this guy's in Congress, he just filed a notice of demand to reinvoke the grand juries of a We the People grand jury, meaning we have the power. Now, I'm involved with the Bill of Rights office, which they're doing the same thing right now, is bringing back the grand jury. It's just people that know their rights, know how to stand in them, and that come together and are holding these people accountable. So they're doing this right now. There's people that are doing this absolutely right now. Okay, so there's nothing for you guys to wait for. So stop waiting. All the people that we've shared with you, get in, learn, and start implementing your rights now.
And I want to reiterate, too, that when we talked about last week, we talked about David Straight and Audubon Rights, both great resources for American history. Both have similar methods of status correction. Again, we're not any of these people that we're recommending. We're not saying follow one individual. That is going to be your Neo. That's going to be what's going to get you out of the system. That's going to give you all the answers, all the solutions. You need to educate yourself, empower yourself with as much knowledge as you can. And these are the individuals that we would recommend. So we talked about Carl Lentz before. Carl Lentz and Alphonse have a lot of similarities. Good with the court dealings, with not going to court, and the affidavits on Alphonse's end. Cal Washington, the notice of liabilities, and a lot more other information as well. Yusef L from High Frequency Radio, SPC University, with the special party creditor and UCC. But again, he's well-rounded. Robert Michael, KL, and Ken Cousins for the Private Membership Association, the Private Contract Private Society. Clint Richardson for etymology and his book, the Strawman book. David Williams, who I've interviewed about the rights of self-determination, which is international law, and it's recognized by the United Nations. It's a way for people to leave one country and be a part of another, or start their own country to get out of the jurisdictional control of the country they don't want to be a part of anymore. So that's recognized internationally. Justinian deception when it comes to the foundational knowledge. If you want to learn more about etymology as well, I interviewed a guy named Pao Chang, and I'm trying to remember the name of his channel. It'll come to Esoteric Knowledge. And it comes from a very spiritual perspective as well. Stan, I wanted to ask you before we wrap this thing up. Mm-hmm. I know you and Lewis are working on something that will help people dealing with law enforcement potentially in the future. I don't know if you're ready to talk about that, which that wasn't the point with this. The point was that I'm not sure how familiar or how much you looked into this people's rights thing, that Ammon Bundy was one of the individuals of putting this together.
Okay.
It's more than just Ammon. There's a whole crew of people that are doing this, but Ammon Bundy on his YouTube channel did a video that was called NOD System, and it's like Neighborhood Organized Defense System, and it explains this idea of what people's rights is. And I'm going to be interviewing him again on Monday. He's running for governor, and governor in Idaho. So he's running for governor in Idaho. Pretty interesting.
Interesting.
So he has a video here that is, you see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's got a lot of videos.
Yeah, no, he does. Where is this video? Yeah, it's very well quite possible it could have got deleted. It's called Neighbor. I think you can actually search on people's YouTube channels, not just the channel itself. I mean, not just YouTube, but the channel. Neighbor.
While you're looking for that, I want to share. I just posted in the chat the World Martial Authority. I've been holding off on sharing this, but I just feel I'm just going to share it now, and I haven't mentioned to you yet because me and someone else were trying to. Someone that I'm friends with is highly involved when working some things with them. I posted in your Telegram. We can kind of brush on this if you want, Rice, after we do the Ammon Bundy thing here, and you can pull up the website. But the World Martial Authority, I don't know if anybody here has heard of it.
Is it something
the Honorable Lee Clegg. Go ahead. Finish this and we'll get into it. I know you were trying to find something, so I figured I'd fill in the gap.
Yeah, well, I can't find the video. They may have taken it down, but it's like Neighborhood Organized Defense System, NODS, and that's the idea of this people's rights is uniting neighbors to defend their families and faith, freedom, and future. So they have and this is something that could correlate with what you and Lewis were trying to put out. This is kind of another reason why I bring this up. Every time people try to talk about knowing people in your local area and building up communities of like-minded people, this is a good way. It's like a telephone system that you would connect up with. You text into it. There's a website. that you would log into the website. It ultimately connects you up with people in your local area, and it helps to build up these little networks where people can come to each other's aid in any different capacity. It's like, so who will you call when your rights are threatened? You will call your neighbors. You will know who they are and how to contact them. You will know who they are and how to respond and act quickly. This is what we as good neighbors should and must do to preserve our freedoms, families, faith, and future. This is how freedom has always been secured. Unite with your neighbors. So it's just really connecting up people, which I think is an awesome thing.
Let me just share something, okay? This is what I see the problem is fear. Now, when I see people in videos like in Australia, okay, let's address this one. 24,000 children being taken into a stadium without their parents. There should be millions of people around that stadium and not allowing that to happen. Why are we allowing this to happen?
I think some of it is also being misreported too about how it took place, because I think
there's either way. There was a video, one short leak that was a girl inside there, a very short snippet. They were all sitting in chairs, separated. So it is real and it did happen. But even when you see these videos of these people in neighborhoods being incarcerated unlawfully and handcuffed, people should be surrounding by the thousands officers and stop them and make them let those people go because they're being unlawfully incarcerated. Then, if they can, they should take the handcuffs from the officers, handcuff them, and deliver them to the police office. That's how we change this.
Yeah,
and you can see in my voice, I am so sick of watching this happen. And this right here, the people's rights, the problem is the people sit by and watch it happen. So you people want to take power back in your hands. You don't allow them to do what they're doing. If they start to incarcerate somebody, you surround them and say, no, sir, you're going to let that man go because he has not committed a crime. He has not harmed or violated anybody's rights. He has not injured anybody, and he has not trespassed upon anybody's property. And that's the common law. And that's it.
Yeah. You know, what's really crazy to think about, Stan, is this. I mean, Australia, I feel like, is one of the hotbeds. And I would say, and I could be wrong about this, I would like to think that in every single nation, that if you take all the law enforcement and all the military and you combine it, and you take all the non-law enforcement, all the non-military, and you combine it, I'm pretty sure that the people outnumber the military and the law enforcement.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I'm not quite sure about. But then the problem is too, is like what you're also seeing in Australia is not happening all over Australia. It's not affecting the whole of the continent. There's certain areas that are worse than others. So it's, and again, sometimes there's being misreportings from things that are coming out and how they're being done. But obviously there is some really shitty stuff going on in Australia. And I am always hearing these crazy war stories. I've been seeing a lot of.
The basic point is that the only way they get away with it is through our consent.
Right.
We allow it to happen. And out of fear is the only way this is happening. We've got to stop allowing it to happen.
No, what was it that you wanted to add?
That's it. I just wanted to add that just stop allowing this stuff to happen. There's, we can't bitch about it if we keep allowing it to happen. It's only us that is we're consenting to this. We're consenting. We're allowing it to happen. That's the bottom line. That's all there is to it.
It's kind of the consent of the governed idea. Just the idea that it's the consent of the people. Until the people stand up and don't consent. In the case of Australia, when you're seeing all this stuff happen.
That's simple. And
you're not doing anything to prevent it, then you're consenting it.
Absolutely. When you volunteer, everything's voluntary.
To swallow.
Everything's voluntary. And, when people say, oh, well, I'm just one person. Or like even David Martin said in his video, it was a very good, compelling video. David Martin, the guy with the bow tie, bald.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good video. He said that, he says, I'm only human. Well, no, you're more than that because you are God in form. So act like it.
So I interviewed Bernard von Nothaus, and interviewing Cliff High, Bernard, and then having interviews like with G. Edward Griffin, who wrote The Creature from Jekyll Island. We need to highlight a lot of what our old people have to say, a lot of wisdom. But in this interview with Bernard von Nothaus, the creator of the Liberty Dollar, I got to use that reference of, this is an example of how one individual can spark change, how one individual can make a difference, how one individual can start a movement or keep fueling a movement. So there's so much potential in what we can do individually. It's until you can realize the power within yourself that you are what you've been looking for and waiting for. And then
absolutely,
when you realize that on a micro level, then you can reapply that on a macro level. And then you can go with the idea that I've been trying to manifest, which is when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people. But first, you have to rise.
To start with yourself.
You have to stand. Rise.
Absolutely. Well said, Rice. And that's happening. I mean, it's happening. There's so many people that are doing it, and people are starting to gravitate, and there's little sects, little tribes that are being developed, and it's happening. It's really happening. There is going to be a change, but there's definitely going to be a calamity through this change. So be prepared for that. I don't know what it's going to look like, but there's definitely going to be a calamity. It's already happening. We're seeing it. There's deaths. There's disease, and the real disease we know isn't
to connect with their neighbors. Another reason to connect with people in your local area. Build these collectives so that you can be looking out after each other. So that when the shit really does hit the fan, people are a little bit more prepared, and then you can actually be more prepared to help other people. Because the more that we can be there to help each other, the community aspect is going to be key in these kind of things for us moving forward. In my opinion.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, what do you always say, Rice? What is your favorite saying?
Be the change by practicing
the other
change. Well, when enough people take a stand,
yep,
nothing will stand against the people.
That's it.
And literally, like,
wake up.
The best part about that saying is this: people can take it for whatever it is, but literally, when enough people take a stand, we can change the world as in the most peaceful, loving manner possible. It doesn't involve anything negative or violent or espousing violence or encouraging violence or cyberbullying and harassing people, which I get accused of from YouTube all the fucking time. But yeah. So, I mean, just look in the mirror and realize, I mean, you never know the impact that you can make in somebody else's life, no matter how big or small. And the small impact you make on another's life may make an impact that changes the direction of our species. So you never know. That's why I just encourage people to just treat people how you want to be treated and be the change you want to see in this world. Because when you do that and you're more mindful, it comes back. It comes back. And, we're in this together.
Absolutely. We're all in this together.
All right, dude. You got anything you want to add to that before we
I think we covered it all.
I meant to be a little bit more structured. I apologize for oversleeping.
Oh, no worries, man. It happens. I think
I would love to have been more structured, and we could still kind of over the next couple weeks take notes about some of this stuff, because there's a few other people that I'd like to highlight.
I do. There is something I want to bring up because I haven't mentioned to you yet, but I did post the check your Telegram and just bring this up real quick before on our way out, and people can dig into this themselves. So, my friend up in North Carolina, out of respect, I don't want to mention their name.
The mountain man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's working with these people.
The ascended mountain man.
Yeah, he's working with these people right now. We're not exactly sure about it, so I've been holding on to this information for a week, just kind of to get a feel for it. But I shared it with you. It's called the World Martial Authority. And the Honorable Lee Clegg claims that they have reclaimed the UCC. So I don't know a lot about it. I do have some information that I can forward to you, Rice, so we can kind of go through it. But there's that. This is just what I wanted to share. People have anything to say about it, share about it, know about it, send Rice an email or myself an email or whatever. But this is something that's happening. It's global. I've done some diligence on myself. You'll see a pyramid. You'll see something with the UN, but apparently they're recognized by the UN, but they do express on the website that the UN is corrupt and that they're making changes. There's a lot of more internal stuff and stuff that I'm not privy to, but the claims are that this is big and that it's happening and bigger things are to come. So
yeah, and I'll look into it. It seems kind of, I'm not going to say, I mean, I don't have anything
to go on. Me neither. I don't have a lot to go on. So I just, when you get a chance, people can literally, I clicked on every link. I read everything on the website. I clicked on, when you go to some of the stuff there, there's royalty, sovereign courts that have been set up and, all this other stuff. And so
information, videos, diplomatic warning, martial verification, career, submit your application, contact us here. UCC1 International Private and Commercial Law Enforcement. I don't understand why they wrote UCC the way they did, though, the lowercase.
I haven't asked that question yet either. Yeah, the upper C. Maybe because they changed it from the, I forgot how to express this, but they basically reclaimed the UCC into a de jure from de facto.
Okay. In a way, though, that would be kind of like Russell J. Gould reclaiming the Title IV flag and shit.
It has to do with the banking. So there's a lot of stuff with banking that is being shifted, and that's where our friend,
isn't this
one you talked about, is trying to work with them on.
This griffin, what is it representative of? It's not a Rothschild thing, is it? It's a Tartarian thing, but what else is it?
Which one are you looking at?
Right above the WMA on the logo. It's like a little griffin.
You're talking about in the main...
On the website.
I'll wait for mine to come back.
Maybe he's a Harry Potter fan and it's House of Gryffindor. I don't know.
I don't know. We could ask. I'm in the Telegram, Rice. I'll send you the link to the Telegram. This is the Telegram that I was telling you about that I saw someone add Mahoney and Dawson to. It was just over the past few days, but they haven't posted anything. Someone else, Geoff. I don't know if Geoff.
Did they add them thinking like they could help and it would be like a good for the cause? Like we need to have liars and thieves,
I don't know. Whoever it was invited these people. They haven't done any posts whatsoever, but maybe they thought it would be interesting for them to see. So there's only 160, but I'll just add you to the group. You want me just to add you to it so you can see what goes on?
Yeah,
there's not a lot that goes on, to be honest.
I haven't talked to Mabloni in a while. It'd be good to
Mahoney.
Yeah, it'd be good to catch up with him.
I mean, we'll see. I thought it was interesting. So these are things that, as a collective, we can keep eyes on. If it is something big, then, we'll just follow it, So now I just decided to put it out there because I don't see anything negative about it. It seems like they want to move in the right direction, but we'll see. We got to have our eyes on everything. And if it's
I agree. I'll check it out.
I'm doing things in the right direction.
I don't want to do much screen sharing and sharing too much stuff without vetting it and people taking it as like some sort of endorsement because it was shared. So
yeah, no worries. I put it in the chat for people. I put it in the chat for people to go through it themselves. They go through the link and check it out themselves.
Cool, brother, man. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, about an hour and a half on Rice TVx2, you can catch the uncensored interview with the predictive linguistic maverick, Mr. Cliff High. So check that out. The clips 1 and 2 are available on Rice TVx, the main channel, and on Odyssey and Library at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It will, in addition to being on Rice TVx2, the Cliff High interview will be on Odyssey, Library, and BitChute, but it will not be available until 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on any of the sites. So if you go to YouTube on Rice TVx2 and it's gone, that means I got a strike. And oh, hey Stan, I think I told you this before. I told you that if you upload videos unlisted and you get a strike, you can actually turn them to public and have them come out. So I've got two videos. We got two videos on deck. A time traveling message where I recorded a message to my future self and to subscribers and viewers in the future, saying that if you're watching this video, I got a strike, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. Then I did another protest. I did a protest video where I took black electric tape and like put an X on my mouth. And just originally I was like standing there while Jimi Hendrix Star Spangled Banner from Woodstock was playing, but they considered that copyrighted material, which I didn't know you could copyright the Star Spangled Banner. And so it's just, I added my theme music from Rice Radio that I've been having in my, so I just got like a 4-minute video of me standing there me sitting here with like tape over my mouth and like holding up a sign saying I've been censored by YouTube. What happened to free speech? Just as a sign of protest. So they're on deck so that if anything happens to Rice TVx because of the Cliff High clips or Rice TVx2 because of the Cliff High interview, those are on deck and will come out. So I'm being strategic about all this shit, man. It's crazy.
Plus, everything is backed up on Odyssey, right? Correct.
It's Earware.
Good.
So
Odyssey's pretty solid. So I mean, if worst case, you've always got that.
Yeah, no, always, dude. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Stan, hold on 1 second. Make sure you subscribe to all of our channels. Links are down below. Make sure you smash the like button and all that good stuff. We appreciate you tuning in. And as always, I encourage you to be the change by practicing change.